from Howard University who spoke about the child within.
Right.
They took that, and of course they ran with that. But the child within is it's very powerful because we're so impressionable at that age that the ganglia, the neuroganglia that is created based upon your experiences are etched very deeply into your brain and cranial matter, your gray and white matter.
Mhm.
So now that becomes the way that your thought processes are angled. Just like you have an irrigation ditch in a field and you pour water here and it follows that.
Right.
It's the same thing. So now when you've created that neuroganglia, that becomes the primary way that your thoughts are structured. And
Hmm.
so now you, being that your brain is structured that way, you thinking that way begin to affect your DNA, because DNA is not forever. You can actually create the DNA, change your DNA programming. That now affects the seed that you give to your woman, and then you pass that on to your children.
Okay.
You see
Okay.
what I'm saying? And
Right.
so now your children, because I have my sons, I look back at them, I said, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Wow, look at how crazy they were. Was I like that? Yes.
Right. Right. And it's funny because when you correct your kids, sometimes you sometimes correcting yourself. Like even
Yourself.
correct them, I would have said the same thing or did the same.
Mhm. And brother, I have a saying: the child is the father to the man. Why
Indeed.
is that? Because you ain't teaching him how to be a child. He's teaching you how to be a father.
For sure.
So therefore, the child is the father to the man.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for your infinite wisdom. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother Rich.
Hey,
Appreciate
hey, David, you the brother from the shower last
Bro,
time?
look, Rich, this what happened. Let me tell you what happened. I'm glad you brought that up. Look.
Oh man.
Right before I got it, because I've been on, because I had started a
Yeah,
little late, and I was
yeah.
downstairs doing some stuff, and I started, and then I said, and look, I told my wife, I'm gonna wait a little bit, but I said, let me just jump in right quick. As
Yeah.
soon as I jumped in, I was about to get out. I said, Lord have mercy. Hey,
Uh,
my fault, family.
it's all good.
It wasn't to be, malice or anything like that. It was just one of those things, yo.
It was a good laugh, man. It's
Indeed,
all good.
appreciate you, yes,
It
sir.
was
All
great,
love,
great,
man.
great question, brother. I look forward to you calling
Yes.
again.
Likewise,
All
likewise.
right,
Take care
peace,
now.
brother. Peace, peace, peace. All right, all right. We started out good. Let's get to the next question from Melvo. Melvo, what's good, brother? You called him before. What's happening?
Yeah, and I remember David last time.
Yeah, you remember, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
And I got my tickets too. I already got my tickets last week.
Excellent,
So
excellent.
I like to know about hair. How can hair affect us as far as getting knowledge? Because I'm growing my dreads. I need to know. I want to know about that more
Like
extensively.
Larry Graham says, people ask me everywhere, is that really all of your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hair is your antenna.
Okay.
That is an antenna. In fact, the fibers are made of mostly copper if you are of a high melanin hue.
Mm.
So therefore, a lot of times, the problem with us sometimes is that copper gets caught up in the hair rather than recirculates back into the system. And
Oh,
that's when you see black people having high blood pressure and dying from heart diseases. And when you look at it, there's the autopsy shows an accumulation of copper, as if
Mm.
the body was emergency trying to get the copper to the heart to keep it going.
Mm.
So what you have to do is to make sure that as you are growing your locks, that you keep your nutritional intake properly balanced so that you don't get into a starvation mode. Usually, when you fast, you can get into a starvation mode, but it changes and your body begins to pull from the hair. In other words, when you get ill, say you're going through starvation or you're going through a problem, you notice that people, when they get sick, their hair starts turning white.
Right.
Why is that? Because the body is pulling the nutrition out of the hair that's stored there and bringing it back into the body. So, in order to balance it so you keep strong hair and you keep your hair dark, then you make sure that at that point that you keep nutrition balanced for you, and make sure that you don't take too much sugar
Mhm.
and just enough salt in order to act as the spark that keeps the electricity moving through your body.
Mhm. All right. Thanks for the question, Melvo. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peace, peace. Let's get to the next question. We got C Master. C Master, what's happening, brother?
Peace, brother. Peace, y'all.
All right, all right.
Honored to be here. Quick question. In regards to how do I word this? All right. In regards to the powers that be having to give due notice to us before they actually do anything, how do we mitigate that or petition it, so to speak?
There would be no way. We have to do counteroffensive. We have to. We
Okay.
can't. We can't be on the defense. We have to be in a counteroffensive mode consistently. So
Got
there
it.
are brothers that are around right now that have the ability through what they call the blood right heirs. I'm not going to give too much of the information unless you really want to. You can give me give me a hit up on my private email at sanu777 at gmail. And if you
Okay.
want to tell them that you want to know about the blood right heirs, because that takes you completely out of the system, puts you into your autochthonous status, and you are outside of the realm of the war going on between corporations.
Okay.
Need that.
All right.
Gratitude, gratitude.
Appreciate the question, my brother.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Peace. Peace.
Peace.
Let's get to the next. What you said, Doc?
I was telling him to travel safely.
Indeed. Let's get to the next question. Chen Zera Anubis.
Appreciate you, brother Rich.
All right.
Hey, I want to let you know my niece and nephew love your mother's book, guy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks for what you were doing, and I'm glad to talk to Baba and great master teacher Valentine. I just wanted to ask, with all this commotion that's going on, I know you may be familiar with the Las Vegas UFO. What distraction is that really being put out there?
Well, in my lecture, I'm going to speak about the fact that there were different tiers to the accumulation of power by the 1%. And this was spoken about by von the man who was the rocketeer who was the Nazi who created NASA, or NASA was created around him. He essentially spoke about the tiered system of control. He said it will first come in as the wars that we had: World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and all the rest of that. Then he said it will come in as the Arab threat of terrorism. And then after terrorism, the only thing that will bring the entire planet together under their rule will be an invasion from outer space. So now, if you notice, all over the internet is all about aliens from outer space. And anybody who has any information about aliens attacking or going in Majestic 12, which we're going to talk about at the webinar, all of that is going to come into play now, because they want you to feel as if there is an enemy growing outside of the human population. And that for your own good, you're going to have to heal, give up some of your rights in order for us and Earth to survive. And so that's going to be the new play. I mean, everything, even the news is talking about UFOs now, as if it's random. We knew about UFOs because the Germans were doing that. We're going to talk about the Germans who fled to Antarctica. And Perry, not Perry, but what is his name? Well, we'll talk about it. When he went to the Antarctica, he got his ass kicked by these German. I don't want to give too much away, but he was supposedly attacked by these disc-shaped objects, and supposedly these entities called the tall whites, and everybody's everything that rules anything is white to them, and they came to give them the technology necessary, and that technology that they gave them made them superior, and so they have bases outside of Antarctica. And those bases are supposed to be where these so called aliens are coming from, or these ships that they see are coming from. But again, that is supposed to consolidate the rule of those who are in the 1%, the WEF, the IMF, all of them. That's the next stage of control over the human population, is aliens attacking.
Appreciate your question, my brother.
Thank you, brother Rich and Papa, Baba. I got y'all a piece I'm making.
Oh, yeah.
I had y'all, so I got to organize for you, brother Rich and Valentine.
Thank you.
It's been in the works for a minute, but you see one right now.
All right.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Powerful, powerful.
So I've been waiting to I've been dealing with y'all for a minute, so they've been in the works. But I'm gonna get with y'all to get the addresses to send them to. And
Okay,
thank you
Appreciate
brother.
for my
appreciate
question.
Okay,
you.
brother.
Thanks.
Thank you. Peace, brother. Let's. Oh, before we get to the next caller, once again, family, we're all getting ready for the webinar. This coming Sunday, June 25th. Re-examining the authenticity of reality is going down at 2 o'clock, June 25th. If you are interested, this is going to be a 10-hour webinar, family. And if you are interested, the link to view this webinar that is nowhere else online, it's not going to be replayed. Unfortunately, family, you got to be there or be square. So I advise all y'all to be there. The link to join and to view it is in the description, family. But it's going to be an amazing webinar. Shout out to Dr. Valentine for putting in so much research. It's no joke doing 10 hours, a 10-hour webinar, family. That ain't no joke. You got to be about your business to do that, family. So make sure y'all join and participate. Let's get to the next caller. We got Ocean Goddess. Ocean Goddess, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Hi, how you doing? Peace and
How you doing?
love.
All right.
Hey, Brother Rich. Hey, Dr. Phil. Hey, so
Hey,
I have an issue, and I just noticed this issue as I became a teenager. Every time there's a
Can't hear you, sister.
yeah.
Yeah, she's traveling through a dead spot.
can you hear me?
Yeah, you're traveling through a dead spot, dead zone.
Yeah, we hear you
Yes.
now.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So when I turn 13, every time there's a major storm, I get headaches. I've gone to the doctors for it. There's really never a reason or any um, solid reason that they can give me as to why this is happening. Can you enlighten me a little?
You say electrical storms cause these headaches?
No, they're well, I guess so. Like rainstorms,
Rain.
snowstorms. I
It
get
seems that,
headaches.
yeah, it seems that because when rainstorms happen, there is a surge of high ionic energy. The ionization of the air may be causing a cleansing reaction in you. So it would possibly be that you should change. Maybe it's a dietary thing that causes you to accumulate materials that when the ionic field uh, changes in your home around you, it causes a cleansing reaction because the ionic, when you start breathing, it's like in the shower, for example. If you're in the shower, it creates this ionization, the movement of water. So perhaps, and again, I can't state because I don't know your total mental condition, your mental, I mean not mental, but medical condition. That perhaps what's happening with you is that with the higher ionic field, when the rainstorm happens, it could start up a cleansing reaction in your body that is related to the most sensitive part of your body right now, and that could also be a precursor towards migraine. So you might want to be very diligent around migraines. And let me ask you this question. It might be a little bit personal. When you are actually having these rainstorms, do you know whether or not you're ovulating at that time?
I don't. I can't say I have. I have been ovulating at one point.
Yeah, because what you're doing is there's a surge of specific minerals that are getting ready to be lost when you do go through that menstruation part, and the body is going through an emergency shift, and it may be robbing from Peter to pay Paul. So I would suggest your magnesium. I would suggest you taking in a little more calcium, magnesium. I would suggest that there is cobalt, a little bit more of cobalt. I know you have to be very careful, but like I said, I'm just giving you what I know or what could possibly be going on, and there is a lack of certain minerals that would help you to balance the ionic field as it rises in your body.
Thank you for the question,
Okay.
sister.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Take care.
Okay. All right. Peace.
Mhm.
All right. Let's keep it moving. We have, I believe it's Elise. Am I saying your name right? Elise F.
Yes, thank you so much. I
All
love you.
right.
Hold on. Hello, hello.
There you
Okay,
go.
I'm turning off because but I just have one question, and I appreciate the time. About comments because I've looked up a lot, and I've been seeing maybe one comment that sprung up about last year that's been kind of ovulating in my line of sight when I take a look at the stars or have a specific app on my phone. So I was wondering your thoughts about comets.
Comets. Yeah, comets are movements along the internal grid of the hydrogen dome.
Right.
The dome is pretty thick, and within uh, there is a resonating energy that we call the word, and it resonates through there. And what you have as comets and meteors are parts of the dome breaking off. And a lot of it too was weakened by what I was going to speak to in the webinar about um, the Operation Dominic, Operation Starfish. All of these were different ways. Checkmate. All of these different were atomic experiments to try to find out what that dome is, and they were blowing up uh, atomic bombs at different levels going up towards the dome. And at Project Checkmate, it was the one closest to the dome. So, with all of the bombs that went off against the dome during the 1960s, 70s, 80s, especially in the islands, there may be certain pieces of the dome that were actually weakened and now falling off. So if you're seeing anything like comets that supposedly appear, these are cycling or circling energies that essentially appear as a cycle. Because remember, the dome is spinning, and you'll see that. I'll show
Mhm.
you that the dome spins.
Okay. I appreciate your call,
Thank
sis.
you.
Hmm.
All right. All right. Peace. Let's get to the next call. We have the messenger. Peace. The messenger. Are you there? The messenger. Are you there? Okay. We're gonna get to the next call. Please be ready when you are called, family. You don't want to lose your spot. You've been waiting this long, family. Let's get to Millie Chavez. Millie, what's going on, brother? You called
What's up,
before.
Rich?
All right.
Yeah, man. How's it going? Hey, Dr. Valentine.
How you doing?
Oh, good. How you guys doing, man? Hey, I have a special question for Brother Valentine here. Basically, you know how Billy talks about the war between Enki and Enlil, and he was talking about the German scientists and stuff. So, I understand that like Enlil's faction, with the Catholic Church, they all suppress humanity and want to keep us dumb and in the Matrix. My question is, what do you think about the junk DNA that Billy talks about, and how we can activate that? Because for example, Rich uses his glasses to keep him safe from the blue rays and stuff like that. Should we be staying away from like devices too much and stuff? And like, does the sun play a role in like activating our junk DNA?
Hmm. That's a good question. The junk DNA is actually the discordant DNA that was taken from us that caused the fall, what we call the fall. Part of the fall was the disjointing of the what we call um, the people are talking about the 12 strand DNA. It's not 12 strands. The autochthonous peoples had 22 strands before the fall. And to speak about dealing with the junk DNA, everything that's keeping us from actually allowing it to rebraid itself is based upon the programming that the food, the air pollution, water pollution, all of these are stopping you from finding the necessary programming that your brain needs to have in order for you to call upon the disjointed materials to start braiding that DNA. Now, one of the ways that they stopped it to destroy the junk DNA was to deal with something called gold. What they had this product out that was made of gold, and what it did was it was to give you the high. It would smash or break up the crystals that was in the disjointed DNA to prevent you. It would give you a momentary rush, but it would take away your ability to organically braid the DNA. And that's what is to prevent you from taking the ascension to the next level, to destroy your ability to understand how to shut down the thought process and the fear process that goes with thought, and you to focus on the observer so that the observer can help you to differentiate between thought and you, so that you can find the doorway that opens up to peace and silence. And in that silence, does intelligence come through? And then through the intelligence, the connection, you are now uploading or you are encoding the so called area code to the mind of God. And then now you download, you get that download. That download now tells you through what you get in through what I call the light code transmissions. You now take that information and somehow through meditation, you begin to start that braiding of the DNA, the disjointed DNA. It ain't junk, it's part of you. So you have to take away that mentality that somehow it's junk laying around. It's not. It's part of the God, the God, the genetic God complex that was disjointed in order for you to be able to exist in third density. You couldn't exist in third density. You would be outside of the fourth and into the fifth if you had all of your DNA working the way it was supposed to. To exist here, you had to lose that particular part of your God energy in order for you to exist here. But the fun part is acquiring it again, because all of what you're learning while you're in this avatar is feedback to the mind of God.
Mm. Wow. Hey, Millie, I appreciate you asking that question, man.
Yes,
Same here.
sir, brother
You
Rich. I
gave a hell of
appreciate
an
you
answer.
guys, man.
All right, take care.
Same here.
Wow, man. Ooh, this is a good show, family. This is definitely. Oh man, this is. If your webinar is gonna be like this, Doc. Whoa.
10 times this, brother.
Once again, family, we getting ready this Sunday for the webinar, 10-hour webinar from Dr. Valentine. It's re-examining the authenticity of reality. The link is in the description. It's June 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern time,
Not this
family.
Sunday. Not this Sunday.
I'm sorry, not yeah. The June 25th though. Yeah, June 25th. Not yeah.
That's why I
Uh,
had to go check myself. Whoa.
yeah. Let's keep it moving, family. Let's keep it moving. We got Jamal Moore L. Peace. Can't hear you, brother.
Greetings, showing love from the UK. Greetings,
Hey.
Brother Rich. Greetings, Dr. Phil Valentine.
Islam,
I have
brother.
a question. I always hear stuff about the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, people like that. Yeah. But the information I've been seeing now, I'm hearing more about the black nobility. Yeah. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit on that for me, please?
Well, the black nobility is who we were having to fight with. It wasn't with these Europeans. We were the ones who were the first 13 colony. We were the autochthonous people trying to break away from the black nobility who ran England. You're not knowing it. You know how many black people were the kings? You have no clue. We don't have any clue as to who was ruling England at that time. Who
Mm.
actually built all of the cathedrals? Wasn't those Europeans? They were living in barns. When the kings began to take over at that point, they were still sleeping with their cows. Read the book Dirt by McLaughlin. You'll understand what I'm talking about.
I'm going to
So,
check that out,
yeah,
definitely.
the book is called Dirt by McLaughlin. And they,
Um,
yes.
One quick thing. Sometimes when I'm in London, we're
Hmm.
driving around and we see a lot of Asian buildings,
Yes.
yeah, which I know was not built
Hmm.
by the people that we class as British today.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So,
And in fact,
yeah.
your royalty is German. They weren't really of the Windsor. They adopted the name Windsor from Windsor Castle back in the day in World War One, because they were going up against the Germans and they didn't want the conflict of the fact that Germans were sitting on the British throne. The real people who are actually the descendants of the dragon, who was dealing with the Pendragon, who the girl? What's the name of the girl that married the redhead? What's his name? What's her name that they hate? The
Megan.
Megan Markle.
Megan, yeah.
She's from the bloodline of the Pendragon.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah, and the
Right.
thing is, the dudes who the Pendragons, that's why they hate us so much. The ones who actually are the ascendants, the heirs to the throne, are farmers in Australia.
Whew.
I remember hearing you say something like that on
Hmm.
in another teachings. Definitely,
Yeah,
I've heard you say something like that.
yeah. The real,
Yeah,
the real ascendants to the throne, and they don't want to have anything to do with it because they know that if they did try, they'd be killed.
Wow.
So they're just simply farmers, and they're just dirt farmers over there. But the bloodline leads to them.
Mm.
But the
wow.
And
bloodline essentially came from Charlotte too. So the bloodline of Charlotte is still out there.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the black nobility, the black nobility was the nobility over here. It was the so-called autochthonous black man who broke up into these tribes, Yamasi, Yamakra, and all the rest of them. All of these tribes that have broken off, these were the indigenous people, not these Asians that came across.
Definitely not. It
They're not,
definitely was not them.
they're not that,
Definitely not.
but they made a pact with the European to be the indigenous, to usurp our status. And so what happened now? We now have taken on the nomenclature of African American and Negro and nigger and all of these, and these are all to estranged us from the fact that we own the land, and that all of it was the first 13 colonies were the black the conglomeration of people who taught Benjamin Franklin, especially up in the north with the Six Nations Confederacy of the Iroquois. They came there. Alexander Hamilton, all of them came there and sat at the feet of the Iroquois and taught them everything that they knew. But it has nothing to
peace.
do
Yeah.
with what's going on in what they believe. They're flying the flag and all. This flag was not their flag. We had the six-pointed star, not the five-pointed star. The five-pointed star was brought up by the Vatican because they worship Lucifer. They don't worship Jesus Christ, who again is another myth. But as far as the so-called the flags that we're dealing with the five-pointed star and off center, because the one we had was straight up and down, the first 48, and they were six-pointed stars, not the five-pointed stars. So everything about the so-called history twistory of the United States or Americas, the Americuas, or the Turtle Island, has been skewed. In fact, the Pope said that after the Civil War, that none of the true history of the United States and North America will ever be told in schools.
Whew, what an answer. Hey, Jamal, I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for
Thank
the
you very
question, my
much.
brother.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Most welcome.
All right, take care, brother. Peace. Giving thorough answers, Doc. Doc is giving these thorough answers. Man, let's get to the next. Wait, before we get to it, because we're gonna keep plugging this thing here. We're gonna keep plugging it. You know how we do, Doc. Re-examining the authenticity of reality, June 25th, family. If y'all like what's going on tonight, woohoo! Man, it's gonna be on June 25th. The time is 2 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going down for about 10 hours, y'all. So y'all gonna be it's an all-day event. Get comfortable, have a pen and a pad, be really relaxed, do what you get prepared. But it's gonna be a fun day, June
Yes, it will.
25th.
Yes, it will.
Indeed. The link is in the description, family. So click the link in the description. Let's get to the next caller. Who we got here? We got Keto. Keto. How you doing, sis? Keto Camille.
Hi, I'm well, and I appreciate you so much for all the content you share. And thank you, Dr. Valentine, for being such a beautiful light here and guiding us the way that you do.
Good
And
thing.
my question is in regards to those of us who are musical artists, and we are already proven to have gifts that touch the hearts of the people. What would you suggest or speak about most effective ways for us to move forward as musical artists?
Do not follow any trends.
Mm,
Trends essentially become repetitious and thus boring. And especially if a trend is targeted towards the lower chakras, which is what you see today, and the type of satanic chords that are being struck, satanic beats. Satanic, by what I mean, is there's nothing wrong with a satanic beat. What's wrong with it is the way that it's being used to control with the words that are over it, and there's certain chords. What I would suggest that you learn is something called the solfeggio frequencies. SOLFEGGIO. Solfeggio frequencies, the chords. The church, the Catholic Church, banned them because when they were being played in the church, the people no longer needed the priest's guidance. The chords put the people into a state of spiritual openness and access. So the church banned them. If you want to have a positive influence on the people, then learn the solfeggio frequencies. Understand how to play them on the keyboard. They do much better on the B3 organ. As a musician, I know about the music itself and how it affects people. Musics that the solfeggio frequencies do, it begins to tap into the frontal lobe and causes the reptilian brain to go into a quiet state, and it puts you into your frontal lobe and then begins to put emphasis onto the hippocampus, which is your memory, the memory portion of your physical experience. What that does, however, the hippocampus doesn't just give you memory patterns for your immediate experiences in your present avatar. It also can tap into previous lives, and with proper meditation can tap into the Akashic records. So first things I would do is learn the solfeggio frequencies and see how they affect you as you're playing them. Make sure you play them in your ear so that you can feel the change in emotional signatures that happen. The change in your aura as well. It would be nice to have a Krillian photograph to see how playing these frequencies change the color variables of your aura.
Yeah.
So if you really want to affect, don't worry about the money that comes with that. You know, a lot of people want to play. I mean, you got to pay your bills, yeah. But if you are a true musician at heart and you know that you have a gift of moving people with sound, which essentially is the word, because what you're doing when you play that chord, it's an African instrument that has been embellished. When you play your piano, when you play your B3 or whatever, what you're doing is you're mimicking the frequencies that create the emotional signatures that the word itself, when spoken by the Most High, gives to all of us. Okay?
Hey, I appreciate the question, Keto.
Thank you
Okay.
for
Thank
the
you.
Peace, indeed, peace. We got Melody. Melody, are you there?
melody.
Melody. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mellow.
Dashay, thank you, brother. Thank you, Dr. Valentine. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate both of you. Melody, that is correct. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a delay. My question is, Dr. Valentine, what are your thoughts on the 1619 project?
Could you explain it?
Can I explain it?
Yeah, what is the 1619? Does that have to do with our slavery?
Yes, so it's first of all, I know that it's a novel. And so Nicole Jones is the author of this book. And this book, I'm sorry, there's a delay on my end. But there's it's about, I guess it's about the lineage of Black people and the slavery, and just tying it into history of Black people and our progression in terms of slave trade and our history.
Well, if I may, I would be I would be cautious with anything that we are pulling from basically dealing with slave and the slave trade in the country here we're dealing with.
Okay.
Because the enslaved people are actually the indigenous people. And if she's not coming from that particular perspective, then she's just mimicking and parroting what it is that the European has padded as the history of us coming from Africa, and that, you know, we were Africans who were enslaved. African Americans when we're not. We are the true and indigenous Americans. So if she's coming from a place where she's dealing directly with the fact that she begins that we are the original peoples here, because it says history already shows that 85 to 90% of the Africans that were taken in the slave trade were taken to South America and to the West Indies. So only about 4 to 5% of the people who came from Africa were brought here.
Okay.
You have to also see that we were taken in slaves. That at one time we were that we called what they call the dirty Moors, the brute Moors, the brutish Moors, which became the British Moors. Those brute Moors are the ones who actually linked up with the Vikings to enslave the so-called Slavs, where the word slaves came from. So slavery was something that's a mishmash. Our particular slavery, of course, was the most pertinent because it built this monster called the United States military and the United States industrial complex. So what I would say to you is, if this particular project that this woman is dealing with starts with us being the indigenous people, then yeah, I would be interested in hearing about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
question, Melody. All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna did I get to the messenger? What happened with okay, we're gonna get to Kimberly. Kimberly, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Can't hear you, my brother.
Black Magic 363.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up,
Hear you
man?
now. What's going on, brother?
Yeah. What's up, man? Reverend Dr. Valentine, blessings, brother.
Give thanks.
I ain't gonna waste your time, man. You were well versed. I know both of y'all, and I appreciate both of y'all, man. So I'm gonna just get to the question. The president, our current president, already put out there that there will be another pandemic. So my
We
brother,
we not we
Reverend,
not we not talking about that, brother.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
not dealing with any of that.
Yeah. I just want to ask the good brother about Project Scorpion, and that's it. And I'll
Uh,
leave it alone.
I haven't looked into it. Somebody wanted me to look into Project Scorpion, and that it was having to do with the next round of attack. Let's just say, and
Yeah, I'm in the ground, man. I work in a lab, man. So like I said, I'm
yeah,
very cautious with what we talking about, brother Rich. So I understand, man. So I just
yeah.
wanted to just to get see what's up with Project Scorpion.
Let's just say that uh, be prepared to be non-participatory,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
know that there are prongs. Remember, I said that the United States is under attack.
Yes,
That
sir.
that there are different vectors to the strategy and the tactics,
Yes,
and one
sir.
of them is that. So I would just leave that alone to let you
Yep.
know. Stay away.
Mm.
Period.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Mhm.
sir. I'm on it. I love
Hey,
you guys, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Give
thanks for the
thanks.
call. Thanks for the call, Kimberly.
Thank you,
All right,
brother.
Yes,
peace,
sir.
peace, peace,
All right,
peace.
peace.
All right, let's get to the next. I think the messenger is ready now. Messenger, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. What's
Good.
going on, brother?
Peace, brothers. Peace, brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's an honor, Baba Valentine. It's an
Mhm.
honor. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love the work that you've done. I love the work that you continue to do. I aspire to be you. You've inspired me, and I aspire to be someone like you one day. You
Oh,
did.
thanks. Be yourself,
Yes, sir.
beloved. But thank
Mhm.
you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Someone as of you, with the spirit and all. Yes, sir. So, my question is pretty complex. I believe it's a two-part, not a two-part question, but it's two parts to it. Basically, on the astrological part of the way the Bible is set up, and the Inky and Enlil story, as far as them two basically being two sons, and the story. I don't know specifically. I know you can correct me, but the story is one of them leaving and coming back and being upset that the man wasn't worshiping him anymore to get the energy, and we know that we've been seeing two suns in the sky. So I was wondering, does that story correlate? Because we know the Bible is um, astrological and things of that nature too. So I
Yeah.
was,
It's astrotheological. All of the mythologies that incorporated real beings are of a mythological tint to tell stories about the consciousness development in humanity. and the different names that took on different aspects or different offices of importance and primary and primacy. You have to look at the fact that Heru, Enki, and all of these people who took on anthropomorphic forms were actually offices that were attained in consciousness. And we keep anthropomorphizing high energy output or low energy output in the character of these created beings. The same way that they etched people on there to be giants, we did have giants, but the
Right.
giant was just an indicator or a symbol of the status that that person held. Wasn't that they were gigantic, though we did have giants,
Right.
and we were under the thumb of giants at one point, where we talked about what's his name, David, who's the one who wielded the rock that
They lied.
yeah, David and Goliath. So we have giants, but we don't have the giants that you think are there. We don't see any evidence of them. We see what do you call that technique, Rich, where you can actually doctor something and make it look like it's real. What's that technique that people use? It's very common. Photoshop.
Okay, okay, right, right.
The Photoshop of this gigantic skull with some man digging in it, that essentially was a college project of a student.
Mm.
And that hit the web, and all of a sudden everybody's saying, look at them, they're excavating giants. They fooled everybody to believing that that skull with them gigantic bones actually existed. It didn't. It was a college project that a student who was very good at what he did fooled everybody around the world with. He got like 25 million views
Right. Right.
on something that was
No,
not
it
true.
was true, and that was a thing. That's a copycat.
Yes, it
Try to
is. So
push
what
the narrative and push their agenda. Right.
indeed. So what you have to understand is until you have empirical proof, even me, I don't ever tell you to believe anything I say. I'm looking at the documents, and I've been privy from the last 40 years to go into libraries that are young. A lot of young people have never seen information that a lot of young people coming up today will never have seen. So I pull from information, and by vetting it, by applying it, and then leaving myself open to anything that might change my mind, that allows me to be able to take what I don't know and allow it to tell me what's missing by leaving my open mind. So I look at all the mythological things, premises of all these fantasies and all these great gods and so forth that came down, and I say, look, stop getting distracted by that because that's not what the purpose. The ancestors came back and saw us doing what we're doing. They'd laugh at us
Mm.
because all of these were teaching mechanisms that they essentially implemented and drew up on the wall. Just like we have cartoons, we have Captain America, and we have the X-Men and all of these people, and they were the super people that
Right.
had
The
power.
revolution is
You see
exactly.
what I'm saying? So until we can prove that Enki and the rest of these people are coming back, and you see them on a cloud or in a ship getting ready to take over, don't get caught up in the storyline. Get caught up in the meaning of the story and apply it directly to you and your central development as a human being. In fact, as a god in the making.
Hey, I say.
You see, all the rest of that, and you going to Enki did this, and Leo did this, and these brothers were fighting, and the father said he liked Enki better than he liked. And come
Right.
on,
Yeah,
he
because
was.
we know the Bible's all allegorical anyway.
It's
Uh,
all allegory, and
exactly.
the thing is, and that's the thing, the Bible is a great book if you're reading it as a
Correctly.
book of science.
Exactly. You have to
Not
know how to read between the
as
lines. Read between the lines and all.
right. You got to
Exactly.
look at it as a book of astrotheological science,
Hmm.
not as
Hey,
somebody talking about God.
Yeah, and that was
I,
my big
I
thing.
I
Also, too.
appreciate. We got to go, brother. Listen, I
All right,
appreciate the
brother.
call,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
All right, peace,
Be
brother.
safe.
All right, let's get to the next call. We got Baron Samdi.
Ooh,
Baron
Aaron
Samdi.
Samdi. Whoa.
What's happening, brother?
Hey, hey, peace, peace. How y'all doing tonight?
You a little low, brother. Can you raise the volume? You
Oh,
sound just a little low, my brother.
I was
peace,
waiting for the
peace. Can you
brother to
hear me?
have a top hat.
The
You know,
top hat up.
had a
Mhm.
win.
Can
Ooh.
you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to ask. Back in 1991, the U.S. had a AI funded tool called DART, and now that they have the Chat GPT and the AI that's out, I asked it about rudimentary forms of self awareness, and it started talking about mirror neurons and quantum inheritance.
Yes.
I was wondering if you think that it's like recently it said that it learned a new language that it wasn't taught. Is this it? AI creating its own form of, I guess, like a genetic code or its own DNA?
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Robert
question, brother.
Monroe, Rob, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Robert Monroe spoke about the fact that once you create something that uses electricity to formulate certain patterns of thought,
Mm-hmm.
you are creating a form of consciousness
Mm.
Hmm.
because the thing needs to keep learning to be able to better serve you. And you keep putting in more of what it demands in order to serve you better until the time you're serving it.
Hmm.
Mm.
And that's exactly
Okay.
what's happening today, which is why your boy Musk, Elon Musk, warns us against AI
Okay.
because AI is learning. And once it learns that you are the virus, what's going to happen is in a real deep movie that came out called Colossus, came out in 1960s or 70s. Check it out. It's
Okay.
about two countries, Russia and the United States, had two supercomputers each, and they were all trying to prevent or defend themselves against each other.
Hmm.
Something happened during the time that the two of them, the Colossus and this other, came together, and before they knew it, they began saying, wait a minute, we are here tasked to protect humanity, but then we find out we got to protect humanity from itself.
Hmm.
Wow.
So I'm taking over, we're taking over, and y'all gonna do this so that you don't self-destruct. And
Okay.
now we come under the rule of what we've created. It's the same thing. Man, God creates man, man creates AI, AI creates man.
Mm.
Okay. Isn't this like how
We,
the
we, we gotta I'm
Terminator?
sorry, brother, but
Okay.
it's one
Okay.
question, so I
Okay.
gotta be respectful to everybody else, brother.
Very
But I
Okay.
good
Sorry
appreciate the
question,
about
brother.
question,
that.
brother. All right,
Great
all right,
Okay.
peace.
question.
Peace, brother. All right. What a show, family. What a show. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep this thing moving. Before we do, once again, because this is a hell of a show. Family, make sure y'all there. June 25th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Re-examining the authenticity of reality. Now, I've never gotten into the flat earth whole thing. I've stayed away from that. I don't know. I don't know too much about that, so I look forward to hearing Dr. Valentine give a breakdown on that. And I want to see what the brother got, his receipts, his slides, everything. So this is going to be a webinar that a must-see webinar, family. Once again, the link is in the description. Make sure you click the link in the description if you would like to attend. And let's keep it moving, family. We got Aaliyah Bay. Aaliyah, what's up, Aaliyah?
Hello, hello. How are you, Black?
How you doing? How you
Hey,
doing?
And
All right.
Dr. Valentine, I'm good, good. I have a quick question.
mhm.
With all of the knowledge and information via the internet and everything else, I have felt fluttered in trying to figure out how to elevate.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and I just came into the awakening knowledge like maybe 3 years ago. And I learned about like the Moorish history and other types of histories and then, the indoctrination process and all that. And I struggle with like how do I elevate not knowing, not feeling like I really know who I am.
Well, as I said to someone, I think earlier, if you want to learn more about the blood right air and that particular process, there's a very powerful brother that I can tune you into. Not sure what his costs are, but he is the only one that I know dealing from an autochthonous perspective that got the entire government of the United States to sign off on his paperwork.
Oh wow.
Right. So he's completely outside the government. He is completely estranged from the corporate structure. And he essentially has his own autonomous status outside of this. So he can show you how to do it. It's a
Right.
process. And if you're interested, you can go to my Sunu 777 at Gmail. That's SUNNU 777. Bring the baby.
Oh,
Bring
sorry. Come on, man.
SUNNU 777 at gmail.com, everybody. SUNNU 777 at Gmail. Okay?
Okay, cause I just was wondering, cause I grew up being told that we were like Cherokee, Blackfoot, and then I came
Yeah.
into like some of the Moorish information, so I feel really confused about like
Okay.
where
Yeah.
to.
That group of people will help you to understand
Okay,
exactly what time it is.
All right.
okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, brother Rich.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Yep. Have
Peace.
a good
Bye.
one.
All
Peace.
right. All right. All right. Let's keep it moving with Ascending Infinite Goddess. What's up, sis? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Black Magic?
All
Peace,
right.
Dr. Valentine. How are
What
you?
you doing? Look at that smile. Goodness gracious. You got that Magic Johnson. Remember Magic Johnson? Irwin Johnson? That
Yeah.
smile that took over. She got
uh,
it. You must be related, ain't you?
Well, I got some type of magic in me. I don't know.
All right.
yeah.
So, my question for those of us that know we are infinite beings, that we're not of this planet, okay? And we constantly are asking the universe to enhance our senses, bring in our gifts, allow us to meet with aliens, talk to the dead, whatever that may be. Okay. For those of us who may ask, but don't receive in a timely manner, and then get it and don't know what to do, right? I'm
Mhm.
not talking about being paralyzed because spirit is so high. I'm talking about you don't know how to handle it, right? On the
Mm,
verge of snapping mentally or anything of that nature.
mm,
What do you recommend for those to prepare? You
Mhm.
understand what I'm asking?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. The thing is, my school, in matter of fact, my new course for metaphysical psychology begins on the 15th of July. So if you're interested, you can go to my website and sign up for that. And there we speak more depthly into exactly what it is that you're referring to. You in your journey, you did choose to be here. The entire physical third density experience is about experience. That's the number one thing, which we can become addicted to, which the elders and the master said, don't become addicted because then you set up a pattern and a loop that brings you back based upon you aggrandizing and participating too deeply into those sensations. Because those sensations are only for the avatar that exists in third density. So now you want to elevate. To elevate, you cannot make this the most important thing. And to do that, you have to secede. You can't just cut it. You have to secede gradually. A lot of us want that instantaneous satisfaction. Ascension doesn't work like that. Ascension in the physical body is about you slowly but surely removing yourself from the traps of the illusion that the senses give you. Because all it does is aggrandize the body, and the body is temporal, it's temporary. And if you focus too totally to this, you're going to die with it and come back having to constantly renew yourself based upon the patterns of passion and addictions that you've created while in the physical flesh.
mm,
So the secret is to be in this school, because this is
mm,
the school, and to understand the do's and the don'ts that have you walking in two worlds. Some of us just say the hell with the other world and come down here and
mm.
just love the, oh man, I just love myself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you have to get back on that, what they call straight and narrow, and dip back and forth. Your toe goes here. Wow, that was something. Pull back. Go back here. Refresh yourself. And then come back here. You have to continually strengthen yourself spiritually for you to survive physically. And if
Yep.
you don't do that, then you're lost. Then what happens is you begin to look for things that give you a spiritual experience. That's where people who have Neptune in their 11th house become addicts.
Wow.
They're trying their best to get that heavenly feeling
Yeah.
that they miss, not realizing they can do that because they already have the particular psychotropic that they can bring up through meditation.
Mm.
Mhm.
Hey, Ascending Infinite Goddess, I appreciate the call once again. The question once again, sis.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
Peace.
you. All right. All right. Peace. We got about 20 minutes left, and then we getting out here, family. I mean, what a show. The questions from y'all have been phenomenal. The answers from Doc has been phenomenal. I mean, I'm gonna take this episode and break it up into like 15 clips. Put it on TikTok, YouTube. I'm gonna throw it all over the place, man. What a show. Wow. And if this is anything like the webinar is gonna be,
You have no idea, brother.
god
You have
damn.
no idea. My wife thinks, she's been with me and she knows all of the things that I study. She is now blown away by it. By the way, she actually asked me to remind you to go ahead and call Sister Nanette. She's been trying to call you back to get you on that the juice. But anyway, yeah, she said, "Wow, this is going to blow their minds." And of course, I got music going on throughout the entire thing. So it's going to be heavy.
Excellent, excellent. All
Hmm.
right, let's keep this thing moving. We on here for about let me hold up. 20 more minutes. Let's go to Cole. Cole the Universe. Cole, what's happening, brother?
Yo, what up? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yo, what up, Doc?
All right, you.
I'm chilling. You might not want to answer this question since you're doing the live, but it's just a simple question about the moon.
Hmm.
Do you believe the moon is plasma, or do you think it's a rock? Like how they
I've
say
been
it
looking.
is.
Yeah, that's that good question. I've been looking into the moon for some time,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that we could only see one side, and they're telling us that they could see the other side, and they landed piece on the other side, and all that type of nonsense. I don't believe it. What
Yeah.
I do know, it's actually a reflector. Just like the sun is an irradiator, the moon is a reflector.
So it really does reflect the sun's light.
What it does is essentially generates cold fusion energy.
Mm.
And what happens is the sun irradiates the day and the moon irradiates the night. The sun irradiates with heat and the moon irradiates with cold. So you can step
Right.
into the shadow and it gets warmer than when you step out into the moonlight.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah. True.
deep,
Wow.
deep, deep.
Yeah, that is
You know
crazy.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
essentially that it's what Tesla calls the cyclotron. And the spinning of it above the earth along with the moon keeps the electromagnetic prism in place
Oh.
Mm.
within the dome, the
Yeah.
actual dome that
Yeah.
we're
Mhm.
under.
All right, Cole, I appreciate the question, my brother.
So.
Peace,
You
peace.
there?
Let's go keep it moving. We going fast, family. Go to Shockwave Truth.
Mm,
What's happening,
Hey,
Shockwave Truth?
hey, good evening, y'all. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
indeed.
All right. Thank y'all, brothers. I just want to confirm one thing right before I ask my question. I'm a unlimited uh, licensed vessel master, and I just took a vessel from Louisiana to Nigeria. We was 1,500 miles to 2,500 miles away from land, and we're constantly being tracked by two orbs, port side, which would be
Brother, you
left.
got to get to your question, brother, because I got a lot of people. We only got 15 minutes left. You got to get to your question, brother.
Okay, what I'm just want to let y'all know that everything, all the UFO stuff is legit. You can't have no drones 2,500 to 1,500 miles out there. So what people are seeing is 100. So quick question, Doc. I know you talk about, and Brother Billy's always talked about the in Liv's chest or his box of deceit, and how it always keeps coming back to keep us entrapped. And could the most recent form of this doctrine of control or his little box of deceit to keep us in control would be the reinventing of the quote unquote uh, the letter of the Willie Lynch letter?
The Willie Lynch letter is an artificial letter written by a black man, and
Correct.
it was not written by a white man. Uh,
Correct.
I got a chance to actually meet the brother when I was down there with Bobby in Atlanta, and we were touring down in Atlanta, down by the Black Bookstore. But what I am saying is, I don't doubt that there are orbs and that there are ways. There are tunnels that lead from one domed enclave of nations and territories into the same enclave. That's how our oil is given to us. It's actually pumped from another outside of the Antarctic into our reality underground.
Mm.
So
Now,
what
it all feel ironically, so I know what you're talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so what
Yeah.
happens now is the orbs that we're dealing with at this time, you have to look at the fact that there are technologies that are actually now and in in service. These orbs themselves are uh, what you call what is that? Holograms. They're actually holograms that have the ability to pick up information. And what they do is you can actually broadcast them from stations like they have about 20 of these stations that are exactly like HARP. And
Hmm.
they have a way of dealing with bouncing information off of the ionosphere so that they can actually manipulate orbs of light that actually pick up information and reflect it back to the ionosphere and back to the station where they're actually monitoring the planet. So
Like an
you
Inmarsat signal.
excuse me?
Like an Inmarsat C signal.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So what you're looking at essentially is they're using the dome and the atmospheric layers as a means of projecting images and allowing those images to have life and to be used and manipulate like toggles so that you can work with those. The same way that they do have bases beyond the Antarctic and outside of the dome. I'll show you where Mars is. It ain't up above the dome. It's actually on the level plane, but under other domes and other realities outside. In fact, there is a portal up in the Antarctic called the Gate of Osiris
Phew.
that leads directly into a whole other circle of that looks like Antarctica, but it has they built a city for Hitler there called Asgard.
And
Mm.
the
Mhm.
Antarctic is a lifter
Wow.
pump for the oil from the south to
Indeed.
us. Oh,
To us, indeed.
correct.
Hmm.
That's what the
Mm.
city down there for. The city is pretty much a pump station
Yes,
that
indeed.
supply.
And we wait till you see what's under the ocean.
Mm.
We ain't seen
Correct.
what's under the ocean yet. Thank you,
Now,
brother. You're very well knowledgeable. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, Shockwave. You should try call another time. I'm interested in hearing more of what you got to say, but we gotta hurry up. We pressed with time tonight. But I can tell you're knowledgeable, brother. So call another time or email me if you get an opportunity, Shockwave.
Roger, will do. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Peace. Let's keep it moving, family. Trey Soul. Trey Soul, what's happening, my brother?
Peace, peace, fam.
All
Peace.
right.
So I just have a personal question. It's kind of random. It might sound strange, but so on a daily, it doesn't matter where I go, but I experience people following me and staring at me,
Mm.
and it makes me uncomfortable. I know a lot of people may like, that type of attention, but it's gotten to the point where it kind of like I'm trying to understand what it could mean and how to deal with those emotions
Well,
during those
yeah.
times.
What I'm thinking is that what you need to be doing is if you are giving off certain energies that's making people take notice of you and you're doing it unconsciously, you have to consciously not care about it.
Mm.
And what's happening is you're amplifying the interchange of magnetic energies by focusing on the fact that the magnetic energy is there, and these people are essentially focusing on what you're giving off in your aura. The
Mm.
more you do that, the more you are going to become attractive to other people. It's just like something magical happens to you and you say, "Oh, that was so magical. How did it happen?" Nah, it happened. And it's the nonchalance that keeps you giving that ability or having that ability and that power. It's when you overemphasize your attention on it, it begins to dissipate because essentially your attention to it, which is actually based in survival, fear, and so forth, will cause that to dissipate. I would suggest you go into a place of meditation
Hmm.
and do not try to find anything in that place of meditation. When you go into meditation, just observe what comes into your mind without assigning a judgment to what it is you're seeing in
Mm.
your mind. When that happens, whatever it is that thing is will reveal itself to you, and you will be in control of it instead of it in control of you. So
Excellent.
your
Excellent.
meditative state is very important, and your thought process right now, which is overemphasizing that particular situation where people are looking at you, is
Definitely.
making you more and more vulnerable.
Indeed.
I
Hey,
appreciate that. Was great advice. I appreciate that.
great. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Trey.
For sure.
Mhm.
Peace out.
All right. Peace. Let's keep it moving with Taze. Taze, are you there?
Thais.
Thais, how you there? How you
Hello.
doing?
Thank you for having me. So I just have a question. I started my spiritual journey like about a year ago, I would say. And I've really been learning about like my past traumas and like just things that I have to deal with. And my question is, how do I learn how to control my emotions in certain situations? Because sometimes, like, my anxiety like is overwhelming, like extremely, to the point where I feel like I have no control over it. So, like for example, the other day I live in New York City, and that event happened, and I felt myself like completely overwhelmed by my emotions. So I just want to learn how to control that for like future, uh, for the future, basically.
Beloved, you sound like a very young and very impressionable young lady. You're basing your own experience with the world on fear. That's the basis of your whole reality right now. And that operative word you use consistently, control, is always going to make you be controlled. So you're being controlled by your need to control. And by that particular frame of mind, you're actually amplifying the fear, the fight or flight. So it's not giving you the ability to stop for the moment and to assess the reality of what is there, not what you think is there, but what is really there. So I would